This is the lesson overview for Year 1, Lesson 3.3, the 5Ds. This is the concluding lesson of Year 1. You'll see here in the front matter as a reminder, Unit 3 of Year 1's learning goal is that students will learn about dilemmas and how to navigate difficult situations. In this particular lesson, they're going to be able to apply the 5Ds framework to dilemmas. The 5Ds framework is a framework that's developed by the Good Project about how to navigate a dilemma scenario. And so here are the steps. First is to recognize a dilemma according to the definition of a dilemma we offered in lesson 3.1. Second, to discuss, so looking at the factors that are leading to the dilemma, maybe discussing with others. Third, deliberate, so engaging in reflection of all the options available. Fourth, deciding, actually making and carrying out a decision. And then fifth, debriefing, so thinking about the impacts and what's been learned from the scenario. The assessment recommendations are here about how to actually look at whether students are able to apply the 5Ds in the conversations and in the documentation generated through this lesson. For Castle, the framework on social emotional learning, this lesson most aligns with responsible decision making, that element. There's portfolio documentation, and then there are a decent number of prerequisites here. That's because students are going to hopefully be able to apply a lot of the ideas that have been talked about throughout some of the previous lessons around values, identity, alignment and misalignment, what a dilemma is, and responsibility in order to be able to apply the 5Ds and really be looking at the factors that are involved in what makes a situation a dilemma. There's an optional refresher here based on the last lesson about responsibility if you so choose. But first, with this lesson, you want to present the 5Ds. So again, through those 5 steps, make sure students are clear. So you might want to pause at certain points to ask if they have any particular questions. You might want to provide an example if you have time. And then talk about the factors, some of which I just mentioned, that might lead to a dilemma or might be involved in making a dilemma, particularly at these discuss and deliberate stages where you want to really be picking apart what's going on here, what's at the heart of a dilemma scenario. So roles, responsibilities, values, alignment, and misalignment, those should be familiar to you and your students based on doing the previous lessons. Then you will give students a chance to apply the 5Ds. So you'll actually look, or they will look at a scenario in this handout, should I stay or should I go? And you can divide the class into small groups and ask each group to complete the handouts together, and then do some sharing out. So hopefully you'll be able to have a good chunk of time for students to actually run through the 5Ds. If you run out of time in the class share out section, it might be a good opportunity to pause there and maybe divide this lesson actually into 2 and do these video dilemmas next time. If you do have time and you are able to get to the video dilemmas, there are some videos linked here from different media sources that portray different dilemmas from films or from documentaries, for example. This is also a place where you might want to adapt. But what students are going to be doing is applying the 5Ds to one or more of these videos as they are able. And so this is a good place, as I mentioned, to slot in different types of dilemmas, different scenarios, different current events, different works of media that your students might be familiar with or might be most interested in talking about. You don't have to keep the suggestions that are here in the lesson. You can feel free to slot those out. If time allows, you can have people share out of what they saw in those dilemmas, but they should have filled out this handout that goes with it, so the video dilemmas handout, and then they can add that to their portfolio. In the exit ticket, students have the chance to answer a few multiple choice questions. So this is a really simple exit ticket. It just asks them which of the 5Ds might be most at play in the questions, just to make sure that they understand what the 5D's steps are and how to use them. And then finally, there's some possible enrichment here where maybe there's been a time someone struggled with a decision. Students can create either a work of art or a story about that and think about how to use the 5D's again to apply it to that. You can also do that with a news article with the 3 parts of a dilemma handout if you are interested in that.